Hey guys, I hope you're all doing great. So we have this Odin's Trial tournament tomorrow, and I already know Plarium, they're going to be amazing rewards, right? Like, we're probably going to have 6-star epic Chaos Ore, I'm sure. I mean, I'm hoping that the rewards are actually good, and it's not just garbage that they usually do for these special event tournaments. Is there anything shown on the calendar? Let's see, Odin's Trial tournament. Okay, we got some gems, gold chest. Yeah, it's probably not going to be that good, honestly. But if it is good, I want you guys to be set up with a team for stage 30 that works for you. But if you don't have these champions, I want to talk about how you can replace them and what you can kind of be looking for. So Elva was a guaranteed. Actually, it doesn't matter. If you have these champions, great. If not, well, I'm not going to tell you how you could have had them. But let me go ahead and start this run. And you can see kind of the presets, kind of how the team works, kind of the idea behind it. And then I'll explain all of the above afterwards. So you'll see there, Loki opened up with his A2 ability on Odin, which that's intentional because we have the counterattacks placed by Valkyrie. Sun Wukong is going to do his A3 once he gets back around to this turn. So we're just delaying Sun Wukong's block buffs until after Loki's already used his. We don't need them both on top of each other. And in case Loki misses one of his or one of them gets resisted or whatever, I want to have Sun Wukong there to pick up the slack because he actually steals buffs, whereas Loki just places the block debuffs or block buffs. Block buffs, block debuffs, they messed me up. Our attack here is doing 99% of the damage. But to be honest, any other HP burn champion is probably going to do very good. If you have a 5-star Brimstone Ninja, it's going to be very good as well. If you have an HP burn champion who can especially activate the HP burns, they're going to do fantastic. You really want Brimstone. Brimstone, Soul Reap, both will speed up your runs by a reasonable amount. And then, of course, have an HP burn. So HP, assuming you don't have Gnut, assuming you don't have Seer, assuming you don't have, those max HP champions, then HP burn, Soul Reap, Brimstone. Really just HP burn and Brimstone. Soul Reap is just a nice thing to have to kind of finish it off a little bit quicker right here at the end. Because sometimes if Odin places more block damages, then we're not actually going to be able to do much damage to him, but we're going to be able to do a lot of damage to these little people on the ground, his allies. And if they all die, then we don't have champions to activate HP burns on. So Odin's going to end up being like 50% HP. I haven't had it that bad, but like say 40% HP with no allies to activate HP burn on. And if we're using our attack, then it becomes a super, super slow run. So having the Soul Reap makes it a little bit better. And apparently Plarium's like, hey, you're doing a video. Let's give you a 6-star ring, 6-star mythical ring. Pretty nice. But having Soul Reap just kind of helps finish out the very end of the run because there are situations where this run can go 3 minutes. If Odin places a block damage, if it happens, unfortunate RNG, it's going to happen. Like, it's going to go for a while just because Artak doesn't activate it like Ninja does. Ninja, very good for the very end, but if you're not running 2 burners, Ninja's not as good because he has to place the burn and then activate it. And against, 5 targets total, it takes a little while to have the burns all spread across. Not as bad with Loki because he can spread stuff. Now, why is this team made the way it is? First up, Odin's speeds and accuracy and resistance numbers are pretty daggone high. So 260 speed, we want to be faster than that ideally. The accuracy and resistance numbers, we would need 505 accuracy to land our debuffs and 615 resistance to resist Odin. There's a little bit of complexities and extra stuff to that, which I will go over in just a minute, because you may find yourself not actually resisting the stuns, but I'll talk about that in just a moment. Now, when it comes to what champion you want in this aura spot, for me, I had a little bit more of a difficult time getting the speed requirements than I did the accuracy. But if you're opposite of me, then put Mithrala, put Loki, put somebody else in this lead spot, and then you can just build your champions with, say, 261 plus speed, and then build their accuracy numbers a little bit lower. Matter of fact, more specific, if you have a 19% speed aura, your champion has a base speed of 100, then you essentially just say, okay, I want 261 speed minus 19 if they have 100 base speed, and then your champions need to be 242 at least to go before Odin. But for example, say you wanted to run the accuracy aura. Well, 505 accuracy is what's required typically, minus 80 from Mithrala. Well, now you only need 425 accuracy to actually place your debuffs on the boss. Speed seems a little bit more useful, so that's what I went with. Now, why is Elva in this team, and why is she built the way she's built? Well, first up, her blessing, this is not needed. I was testing something out. I don't have enough gems to switch it off, so Survival Instinct, we'll talk about something that's better, but her build specifically, she is currently with enough resistance to resist the boss, She has speed enough to go before the boss, and then defense and HP. Both looking very solid. Essentially, I went to the Hell Hades Optimizer. I said I wanted 4 pieces of protection. This is really just to add a little bit of extra RNG, maybe make the run faster, but it really doesn't matter. You don't need protection. But I said I want 4-piece protection. I want 615 plus accuracy. I want 242 plus speed. And this is what the Hell Hades Optimizer spit out. I didn't want to take any gear from anybody else. So this is what I got. And then revenge stuff works out well also. Now for her skills, we have continuous heal. We have the A2 ability, which places the block debuffs and the increased speed. We have a res, and then we have a passive ability that places Veil. Now in this team, we have a champion who's very reliant on Veil in Loki. So Elva is going to place a Veil on the ally with the lowest HP. Currently, Loki has the lowest HP majority of the time. Not always, but this is going to allow him to keep the Veil on him pretty consistently. Or at least with Elva's help, of course. So Elva's bringing a block debuffs, which is actually huge. I'm going to talk about that in just a moment, why it's so important. An increased speed, some heals, a res. So she brings a lot of stuff. There's other champions who are similar who could kind of fill her role. Now for her masteries, I didn't build these for this. This is just masteries I had a long time ago. If you want to copy them, feel free, but I can't guarantee they're optimized, but it's working for this team. I can't guarantee it's optimized for the champion. And like I said, her blessing, there's no reason to even go this. I would more likely go Chainbreaker to have a chance of breaking myself free from the stun. Not Brimstone. Unless you're like 6-star, don't go Brimstone. And maybe Nourish. Nourish could be good as well. I was testing something with Survival Instinct. That's where we're at. Don't worry about it. Let me talk about why block debuffs is so important. Dune Lord Gregor has an effect on his passive that essentially allows the allies to ignore 50% of a target's resistance whenever applying control effects, more or less. So Odin oftentimes probably stuns your Mithrala, but if you bring a block debuffs champion, now all of a sudden, Odin's strip on this A2 ability isn't going to take advantage of the 50% ignore resistance. It's going to have to go through your resistance. So if you have the 615 plus, you're going to resist the strip. Thus, you're going to also resist the stun because, well, you're not going to resist it. You're just not going to have it placed because nothing ever got stripped. But if you take Elva out of the team, now all of a sudden you have no block debuffs and your Mithrala is going to need crazy high levels of accuracy and resistance, specifically resistance. All your other champions are going to get the stun placed on them. But if you have a champion like Elva, who I have her built with high resistance as well, she's not going to take the strip, she's not going to take the stun, and she's also going to cleanse the other champions. So now let's take a look at Mithrala. So Mithrala, pretty simple stuff here. We have the A1 poisons. It's nice every now and then. The A2 ability does help control the waves, the petrification going off. It is nice. The extra defense, extra attack, I don't care about that, but the extra defense is really good. The cleanse with the strengthen and shield is very helpful. And then the fact that her accuracy goes into resistance is massive. And then the aura, you can play around with that. For the blessing, I'd probably go Brimstone realistically. Her masteries, I wouldn't build these necessarily. You could go War Master. This is my PvP masteries, but it works fine here as well. So Mithrala and Elva are working out very good together. Have her in Stone Skin, but it's kind of irrelevant. Now, she is pretty fast in the team, and the presets are pretty important, but I'll go over those in just a moment. Let's take a look at the next champion in line, which is going to be Loki. So Loki doesn't have to be this fast. He just needs to be ideally slower than Mithrala and just faster than Elva. So just somewhere in between there, ideally faster, better, because you can use him in more content. But for my Loki, I have him in 4-piece Stone Skin, plenty of accuracy. Well, just kidding. It's actually not enough accuracy to consistently place his stuff, but it's so close. Once I get his masteries finished up, he's going to be fine. He is fully booked and he's working well. He's kind of like a backup plan with his A2 ability, but honestly, with this A1 extending the duration of the debuffs, it actually helps out a lot. And he's more useful here than what I originally expected. So Sun Wukong, of course, is here for the A3 ability, the block buffs, and the strip. Both of those are amazing. The steal, actually, not the strip, the steal is so helpful. I have him opening with this A2 ability to sheep Gregor, and then from there, he doesn't use it again because it's just going to delay the fight, basically. And then his actual stats, we have good accuracy, decent speed. I'll probably tweak this down the road. I didn't want to make him crazy high speed yet, though, but to be honest, eventually I'll probably throw him in like a 350, 360 plus build for the arena and just use him here as well. May have to adjust the presets, but that's probably what I'll do. And his masteries, they're my damage dealer Wukong masteries, so is the Soul Reap, but I use them as a nuker in the arena, so I'll just swap between these presets. Not a big deal. For Artak, I have my Artak built for soloing content, essentially. I had to adjust him a little bit, but he has pretty good HP, pretty good defense. We have fast speed. We're faster than Elva, faster than the boss, and we have plenty of accuracy. Pretty simple stuff there. We have Brimstone, super important, and then Oppressor, not necessarily needed. You can go War Master without any problems. Let's take a look at the presets. There are no specific speeds necessarily other than the ranges. My ranges are essentially, hey, Mithrala is the first to go. She's the fastest. And then we have Elva, who is the last to go, because she's going to use this A2 ability, and it's going to essentially steal my turn meter because of the Valkyrie, and it's going to boost their turn meter. So I want her to be the last person to go. And then Sun Wukong and Loki, I could stagger them more from each other to have more of a likelihood that the block buffs will be up the entire time, but it's not really that big of a deal. And then Artak doing all the damage. So whenever you're coming in here to look for these champions, the best thing I can recommend, if you don't have Artak, you know, okay, I got to place an HP burn. Well, come in here, go to HP burn, debuffs. Okay, so let's go to include Master Vault and include Reserve Vault. So now we're seeing, okay, these are all my HP burn champions. Maybe you want somebody who can place HP burn, but also can activate it. So is that a positive or negative effect? I don't know. It's positive for me, but negative for them, so I get a little confused then. But now we see, okay, we have Sishia. Maybe you can try her out. She's going to be kind of squishy, but you could try her out. We have Frenzy. Now, probably not the best champion to do for this, but possibly. We have Ninja. We have Walking Tomb Dring, who's going to be even better for keeping your team alive. A little bit slower, but your team's definitely going to stay alive. I have another Artak? I didn't even know that. Apparently I have an extra one. Either way, that's a decent idea of, okay, this is how you can sort through that stuff. Actually, I had no clue I had another Artak. Is he in my faction Guardians? The heck? How long have I had this dude? I guess I've had him for a while. Okay, well, I got another Artak. Cool stuff. So if you're looking for champions who can, say, what are the other roles? Okay, block buffs, right? Let's go to block buffs. It's going to be the same thing. But if you need a champion who can do block buffs, maybe you want to bring increased accuracy. Remember, though, the Valkyrie is going to manipulate stuff, so you have to be careful if you're placing any buffs. So if we have a champion who does block buffs, Uko seems to be good, but he's not great because he only places this if they have no buffs after the attack, and he's going to have Lightning Cage all the time. So Uko, not great. Vizier, I tried him, didn't really love him, unsurprisingly. Ugo, definitely a solid option. Sun Wukong's great. Thorion, I've used him. This is not my best team. This is just a team that I wanted to provide with you guys. I can build a faster team, and I may build one for tomorrow, but this is safe, this is consistent, and this is smooth. That's really what I'm looking for with this kind of team. The one I originally ran was like 40, 50 seconds, somewhere around there. And this one, it takes longer, but it's really not a big deal. The other one was far less consistent than this one, I believe, but I'll probably go back to using Gnut, using Seer, and champions like that. But if you're somebody who, even if you have a Seer, you can change this team a little bit. If you have a Seer, just adjust it to what's best for you. But this is the core of what I'm going around. I have Elva who can cleanse plus place block debuffs. I have Sun Wukong and Loki who can both place, and Loki actually extends the block buffs. And Artak doing HP burn AoE plus activation and a high level Brimstone. The dungeon's actually fairly simple. You do need to have some okay survivability, or at least be ready to res a champion. Now, in my case, I have Elva prioritizing the res, but you can see here we have the hexes from Mithrala and the petrification going off, stopping Turvold, slowing him down some. Loki, once his passive activates, he's going to start taking less damage from those hits, so it's going to make him be a little bit better of a tank against those big Turvold hits. Artak's a tanky dude. If he had Walking Tomb Dring, he'd be even more tanky. So you have a lot of options, but now you get the whole block damage thing come up. We do have block buffs applied, so once block damage falls off, we're going to be okay. It is frustrating whenever you're running it, though, and Artak activates all the HP burns into a block damage. It's never fun to see because it kills these side people, and then Odin's still standing strong, so it's never great. But like here, we're keeping the side people up throughout the whole fight, which is fantastic. You really want those up the entire time. So Wukong finished that one off. It's the downside of having Soul Reap. But then Artak's hopefully going to be like, see, we have the block damage. We may even have a Soul Reap activate into the block damage, which is never cool either. Hopefully, yeah, it just fell off. Fantastic. So now Soul Reap is going to come out very soon, and we can get the fight finished up. We have the block buffs up, which if you don't have Loki plus Wukong, if you don't have two block buff champions, it's okay. It's just going to be a little bit more RNG, a little bit more hitting into block damage. There's a bunch of other options, of course. You can do Seer teams, all that kind of stuff for sure. I just want to give you guys an example of a team that did not use Seer, did not use Gnut, because those are the two champions that a lot of people are upset with seeing in every single event dungeon team, every single Odin team. So guys, best of luck. Let me know if you have any other suggestions, but this is a decent core of a team with, I feel like, not insane stats to hit for, I guess, perspective, stage 30 of the newest dungeon. So you may not be able to hit this. If you can't, well, come in the optimizer and see, okay, maybe you can hit stage 28 possibly. You can also make sure you have decent rewards there. Are the rewards worth it? Maybe not. Maybe you just want to go to stage 24 or stage 25, something like that. But this stage, 455 accuracy and 555 resistance. Maybe you can hit that a little bit better. I don't know. It's all up to you and your account on what you can do. I mean, stage 20 is 180 speed with much lower stats. Don't know if you want to run that based on the drops that you get, but maybe you do, maybe you don't. That is completely up to you. Stage 24, much more approachable stats as well. A little bit different approach to the minions over here, so you can, change up your team a little bit however you want. But guys, that's my team. This team I wanted to share with you guys. Thank you all very much for watching. Hope you enjoy. And yeah, enjoy your Loki. Like I said, he is booked, so I am using him. CVC is not over, so maybe you can decide if you want to book him or not. So thank you guys for watching. Love and appreciate all of you, and I'll catch you in the next one.